Hello and welcome to the DFS_PhD show for today, the 10th of October. Remember, you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, somebody's got to win that money every day. It's true. Somebody on DraftKings is winning the money. They're not a fraud. They remain in business, and so they are still giving it away. And we won a little bit yesterday. We won a few of these saddies. I didn't even put in the other stuff we won because whatever. It's an okay day. But yeah, I was telling you I'm flipping a coin on these main slates from here on out. Cover a lot of cases. I'm gonna play 4 or 5 lineups with 4 or 5 cases, and yep, Phillies and Arizona paid off. Sadly for my Dodgers, they just look terrible. I can't. I don't think they got a chance. Yeah, was gonna do pretty well. Probably not takedown, but up at the top if the Oklahoma City guys come back. Jalen Williams, Giddy, Holmgren. That was fun. But preseason stuff, don't have much to say about that. What I do have to say is if you're not playing The Sims, you're leaving money on the table. This is just like easy free money because, yeah, it's positive expected value. None of these are even getting close to filling. So I'm going to have some ridiculous number of tickets for all these events coming up that are basically all at like half cost. And so when I lose money, I feel less bad about it because I didn't really pay for it. So for instance, I got 20 of these NBA tip-offs, 20 for the NHL today, 10 for America's race. Oh, 9 for that UFC though. That's another one. You guys know I like getting unique, throwing something up, trying to get a new house off the UFC because the UFC will give it to you with some weird thing will happen. And speaking of, some weird thing will happen, and BP will win another millionaire. That's not that weird. It's like the second one this month. Some other sharks up top last night. We had, yeah, this is more for the football video, I guess. I'll leave it for the football video to talk about uniqueness and all that. And instead, because we do have a few different slates to talk about today. We have 2 different showdowns and the main slate. They're starting to really take the attention away from the main slate. So my attention is also going to go away from the main slate on these videos. And then we give you a little bit more attention to the showdowns where they're now putting like money up top. So when they're putting like $10,000, $20,000, fine, I'll get my beak wet there. Today at Target Field, we have a little lower chance of home runs and runs than you're used to during the season. Even during the middle of the day, wind, coolness, lack of humidity, all those things are what's showing up here. So, yeah, I nerfed that game 4.6. So this is 10%. I docked 10% runs because then and still 100% stacking Houston. Well, I don't think I'm going to do that. That was kind of part of the point because I didn't want to 100% stack Houston. Okay, yeah, I'm only playing 4 lineups. So even though I should probably tell you who's in the pool. If you're running more lineups, you can put Sonny Gray in the pool. I just like Dean Kremer better than Sonny Gray, and he's cheaper. So for me, it's a cross off for Sonny. And I'm going to play Eovaldi, Javier, and Kremer. And yeah, that's probably why 100% Houston stacks. Even in the weather was because I crossed off Sonny, but still, I don't know. I think Houston could still eke one out 1-0 or something. Javier is the part I'm more confident in because if you watch the show, this is the one thing we still are hanging on to. Statistics-wise, Minnesota is really bad at striking out. So, like, we can still use that to our advantage and still target Javier a little bit on the slate. A little bit, 75%. That's okay. Dean Kremer, 100%. No thanks. Will I go 50% Dean Kremer be okay, or is that going to be too restrictive and I have to change it? Yeah, the math doesn't quite work out there. 125, so then the other guy would have to be 75. Well, I'll figure out how. One way I could switch that. Sometimes this fixes it. This is just say 5 uniques. That didn't fix it. Oh, this is my Sims alarm. Hold on 1 second. I gotta check and see if there's any overlay. You guys, I assume, also are setting these alarms and then resetting them for a 2-hour timer to double check and just to see what sort of value is available in The Sims. Here, I will give you an overview as I do it live. Sadly, this will not be available to you on the stream right now. Granted, it's for next spring for the first NASCAR race, but at least a 2x overlay, yeah, that's okay. I've got a lot of tickets for that right now. For Thursday, not overlay, not exciting. I'll get that with overlay later today. Could do UFC. I got enough of that probably for that level of overlay. Yeah, pitch and putts. I'll get that better later today. It's close to 100% overlay, but I just know that I'm going to get a better rate at that. Yeah, just seeing if there's any good NFL stuff. If the UFC stuff's way too cheap. Nope, all decent prices. Okay, well, sometimes you can't hop on value because there ain't value. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, this is fine. Okay, so Javier, Kremer, and Eovaldi. Those are my horses. Those are my horses. If you want to ride some Sonny Gray out there, if you got a place in your heart for Sonny Gray, fine. I don't have a place in my heart for Sonny Gray. Except for the Showdown slate, because I think I saw him being ridiculously underowned on the Showdown slate. Was he even one of the pitchers listed? Wait, what? Hold on. Why is Sonny Gray, Minnesota and Houston, Baltimore, Texas? What day is this? The 10th. What's going on with that? Why is Baltimore and Texas on this? Hold on. One of these things is wrong. Oh, do I have two of the same thing open? 10th and the 8th, I do. Okay, so I have the 8th 1 o'clock game open, and I need to open today's 1 o'clock game is the Houston Minnesota game. Okay, that's where my Sonny Gray. I knew I was going to be on Sonny Gray somewhere, and this is where I'm on Sonny Gray. So you can live see how I'm going to do this with the Minnesota game. Having prepped two versions of the same game with different pitchers probably should have been a clue. But okay, so you get the pitchers in your pool, and then you sort by boop, boop, boop. That explains why. I was like, why do we have starters for this game already? It's been a long time. Oh, well, guess it's the playoffs. Okay, Royce Lewis, 16% leverage. Not that. That's fine. People, I guess, don't want to click him because he had that big game recently, and they think it's recency bias. Yeah, enter Diaz, 17 minus 3. You can do it. It's getting close. Polanco, 13% as well. Altuve, yeah. I think on this slate, I'll go with the Houston guys because, yeah, I already got Royce up there. And, yeah, the Houston guys, I don't know. You already heard me not liking Sonny Gray that much. Actually, yeah, speaking of, this is the place I did the, right, this was we had a, yeah, minus 10% on this stadium. So let me give a minus 10% on this stadium. Bum, bum, bum. I think they lowered these already. That's weird. These lines are moving like while I'm doing the show. It's going to make it tough to do the show. I had prepped this like 30 minutes ago when these lines. Oh, right. Some of these lines. Hold on. This is the 10th. Look at these lines. The expected runs is okay. Somebody's playing with me. Somebody's playing with me here at SaberSim. 845, 901. What happened? When was this updated? 845. Somebody's messing with me with these expected team totals. I don't know what to do or which one's right. Okay. Okay. They're now consistent across games. So that means Minnesota 4.4 minus 4 and Denver 3.9 minus 0.39, which is 3.5. So what just happened there? There's like a wild shift in. That's like, I don't know. I've never seen a line swing that much in 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Like whatever just happened there has thrown me completely off for this Houston Minnesota game. Did we get news? What just happened there? We got twin starters. Is that really it? Something went nuts just now. Houston got like a minus half a run on their implied team total, and Minnesota stayed the same. Did Minnesota become favorites in this game? That can't be right. Betting odds, Minnesota, Houston, S. No, yeah, okay. Huh. Hey, Leon, what's up? All right, bud, Mono will get it for you. I'll be there in a sec. So, yeah. What? The Twins are favored in this game? Well, I would bet on the Astros, but besides that, why are the Twins win? Has this been line movement? MLB. I mean, I don't really care that much about line movement, but like, what's going on? I'm I don't know what's happening with this game. It's the same. Okay, so they're not seeing a change. People really just think that they're going to win this game. I guess it's because they're at home. Okay, well, I guess that's my angle. I don't think they're going to win this game, so that's my whole angle for the slate. I am befuzzled at the odds. I think that obviously they have a worse pitcher on the mound and worse hitters in the lineup. Don't get it. Don't see how it adds up. Also, the projections seem to have changed just recently, so don't know what I'm going to do yet with that. But my captains, all right, my captains will remain more or less unchanged. So I'll tell you my captains for the showdown. Javier and Gray obviously are in play, but then Lewis, Diaz, and Altuve, you saw them getting in the mix. Besides that, I think there's 1 or 2 relief pitchers to make the bill. Yeah, I only go with the ones that project above 2 points. Means they're going to get in a good amount, and don't cost a bunch. So, well, a few of them. Wow, what? Really? Okay, so a lot. I guess we're projecting this to be mostly a bullpen game then. I'm seeing Duran, Abreu, Thielbar, Montero, Neres, Jax, Maton, Brock Stewart. It's a lot of people projected for over 2 points, but I mean, if it sticks, it sticks. So my Proj, I mean, I guess it could be more selective, right? I mean, if we got that many people projected for more than 2 points, can I go to more than 3? 2.5? No, they're all in the same region. We just don't know who it's going to be. Look at these ownerships too. You guys are sharp, huh? Okay, so what I wanted to have less than 3 dupes in 5,500, I think, for this one. And 49,000, 47,500. Make me, don't remember how many I'm doing for the showdown. 4. I'll do 20 for the sake of argument. Okay, so now that we have this showdown going, I will show you the late showdown, which I did prep correctly for the correct day. Because I know what day it is, and I totally paid attention to what the pitchers were. So Dean Kremer is my general play of the day on this. I like him. I like the way he's pitched. Obviously, he could get shelled. 80%. Yeah, no thanks. I am going to play. It's a nice setup for the nighttime showdown, so I'm going to play a few more of those, but I'm not going to play 80% Dean Kremer. But wow, 3.5% in captain, suspicious. Don't really think he's going to be that low. He is the starting pitcher. Granted, it'll be a short-ish lease. He's solid. He's like, there was this game 2 or 3. I guess they're thinking it might be more of a bullpen game. That's fine. Yeah, we just saw it. They're thinking it's going to be more of a bullpen game. So, no, right. That was the Minnesota. I'm trying to figure out where I cap this. I think I cap it around 35%. That's what I'm leaning. Just because 10x the field is an aggressive stance. It's a very aggressive stance, and like I don't need to be that much more aggressive. Evaldi, where I'm at like 9 times 3, 9 times 4. Yeah, that's fine. Who else? We're getting to the other guys too. Mixing them in. Yeah, I like Evan Carter too. Like he's just, if it's somebody we can all agree is massively, massively overpriced and terrible, terrible value, then they might just hit a home run and ruin the slate, right? So I just like mixing that kind of argument in for, I am going to play a 15 lineups for the main slate showdown or main showdown, whatever. There's like a zillion of these guys too that are in play down here. Looks like we had a few of them in the pool, but we only are getting to Chapman and Perez. So that's fine. A little sprinkle of any of these guys, any of the relievers to get different is fine. Generally, though, I am finding rather than single ownerships as a way to get different, salary restriction seems to be a much healthier way to get different in terms of just like when we reflect on the sum of all these, top 20s of all the different showdowns. For showdowns, it seems like the pros are using salary restriction because of Fish Jam salary. I mean, it's just like it's the one thing you see on the screen. It says you how much salary there is remaining. And if you're smart and you've been watching some shows and they're all classic shows, guys like me have been telling you use all your salary because those classic slates are very, very efficient and there's almost no chance of duping people, right? Just use the right stack or whatever. Like today in hockey, I'm not too worried about dupes. I'm just worried about please, 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 can my line score some runs? Yes, I'm ready for a hockey season. You could tell. Goals. I don't even really remember the word for it. It's been long enough since hockey season. So Okay, but yeah, our guys. Oh wow, yeah, not. So I guess we're going. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I was like, wow, we don't have very many of the pitchers. This stance by Saberson makes a lot of sense to me now. I buff the pitchers a lot, but we all recognize they're fragile. So I have them mostly in the captain and not in the flex. So assuming one of them gets shelled, being the base case for these lineups to smash and their because yeah, let me say, well, my settings were I left 500 on the table at least. That's and I had that geometric mean filtering for ownership because this is in that gray area where I expect it to be close to accurate. We're not using all of our salary. There's a few different options. And so, yeah, the options should be weighted by their individual probability. Okay, back to the first game, now that it is finished running. What are we doing in the captain? Okay, jamming those two guys seems pretty aggressive, so we're not going to do that. Don't need to be 100% Javier, even if I think he's the best play. 90%. So the pool's 40%. The field's 20%. So real aggressive would be 60% captain Javier, but real aggressive / probably fine. A dart in case Sonny Gray has a career performance. Seems fine. Royce Lewis. Oh yeah, okay. Going to Altuve, going to Yainer Diaz. Okay. As the preferred options over going to Royce Lewis. Sure. Don't really care that much about that call, but okay. Those I don't know if I even have mentioned it yet. My calls for the captain for this slate were yeah, you guys saw me do that live, I think. Generally though, I just don't want, if I get a home run, I want it to really matter. Wow. Bregman at 1%. Did I see that right? That might stuff shifting, guys. I couldn't have had that be at 1% earlier. I don't think I would have passed up 1% Bregman in the 2-hole. Yeah, I'll pop him in there for later. I think Bregman's a reasonable captain choice too. It's not on the regular home run argument. It's on the looking at ownership argument. So part of the process really needs to be not just yeah, I was talking this over with Petty Theft, and I don't think he's doing a character on Twitter, guys. I think he really is like thinking he needs to eat a little bit of crow about Achan, whatever, and we'll never know because Achan's hurt now. So we get many, many weeks of Ahmed Mostert talk now. But it's not just good or bad chalk. And in particular, chalk is probably decent. That's the main thing, right? That's the reason it's good drama to talk about if it's good or bad, because most of the time it's not. Most of the time, the field's there for a reason, right? It's like people in general are normally distributed about stuff. So let's assume the chalk hitting is about normally distributed. We need to get in a frame of mind where we don't think of other people as sheep. We recognize there is a thing called the wisdom of crowds. If you haven't heard this, like, wisdom of crowds thing, it's a real thing. And it's like if you're at a carnival or whatever, and there's like I don't want to see the picture of a guy's book. Are we kidding me? This is a wisdom of the crowd. Why would I be talking about any of these branded things? I'm talking about what in the world? Okay, well, wisdom of crowds is like, okay, like if people at a carnival are guessing the number of jelly beans in a whatever, in a bin, they individually will just throw numbers out there, right? But collectively, the probability distribution of their guesses does center around the right answer. So by whatever mechanism that is happening, we need to recognize the same thing in sports gambling, right? Like the reason why 30% of people are on 8chan channel last week is the dude is like the eye test, like that's a thing. He looks incredible. Like when he's running down the field. Actually, not when he's running down the field. The part before that, where there's like still unclear what's going to happen. When he bursts through that hole, that's why him and Brees are over-owned compared to what their touches imply, right? Is because what they do with those touches is consistently different. Now, whether or not, obviously that's unsustainable. Like I'm not on the team of like jam, don't go 50% Achan, but I'm not on team full fade Achan either. I'm on team, we need to start with the assumption somebody's decent chalk. And so like last week, taking that much talked about case for an example, I was calling HN decent chalk, and the pivot was Mostert. And I think that's right. I had like 20% HN, a 10% fade was something you know, fine. I think that, he was supposed to be a fade. But when you take a 10% fade on the field, when you kneecap them by half or whatever, it's a big move. You got to be real confident. Like, that's already a big fade. Going all the way to zero on that, I'm not sure that's the right move. I think that's very, very confident the field's wrong. And they are wrong. I mean, like, a lot, but I don't think they're 100% wrong. I think they're like 80% wrong, if that makes any sense. Okay, so now that I've talked about how I think you're 80% wrong, welcome to the show. Thank you for watching. We have like 100 subscribers now. Please comment, like. Please like. I think disliking is fine too. We do have our first couple of dislikes as of last week. My apologies for whatever that was. Probably lost you a bet or something. But I mean, honestly, like, having my first hater here is great. Like, that in real life, I've always felt great. Like, at one time I was at a Q&A for a movie I released, and like this guy came up and was like clear he'd read all my articles I ever wrote as like a student, and like was mad about them still, and was like at the Q&A, and I was like, dude, you read everything I ever wrote, and you're here at my movie release. How could I be more happy, right? Like, having a hater is the best. So we welcome our hater, but we would like to drop him out with actual positive thumbs up and stuff. So yeah, whether you're the hater or not, welcome to the show. And yeah, glad to have you here. And I mean, yeah, some of the time my haters are going to win money. That's just how it works in DFS. I'm happy with that. Y'all are out there entering your lineups. It's not only going to be me winning money. I'm not going to pretend, that I run pure over here. No, I'm not trying to hate on those guys. I think they're fine. I do think, like I always talk about, stay in a positive mindset while you're making lineups. I don't think I have anything. I think I talked about, you evolve right. I talked about this first. I was in the middle of talking about this other one. You guys know, I've just been on a crazy rant here for like 10 minutes. I should probably just peter it out. I think that's what I was building up towards there. Yeah, I don't really have much more to say. You guys know I'm just going to throw a bunch of darts on the main slate. The darts are mostly going to be Houston darts and mostly not going to be Minnesota darts, even though that didn't work out for me yesterday. So, I mean, that particular play was yesterday, 2 days ago, whenever they last played. But yeah, it's just, you got to go with your gut. That's, I guess I'll link to the go with your gut, or listen to how to examine your own gut kind of videos and stuff afterwards. But remember, you're good enough, you're strong enough, and got started. Somebody's really going to win that money. Could be us.